Aho, buju indinoi maganadok. Anin, kagegabo indigenagaz. Mikanak and dudem, Mikanak wajawing and dunjba. Beishoga kabakang and danongom. Apajigo migwech bizendawieg. And what I said there was a traditional Ojibwe protocol greeting. I said hello, all of my relatives. My name is Kagegabo. I'm Turtle Clan. I'm a descendant of Turtle Mountain. I live close to Minneapolis today. And I wanted to begin by saying, Miigwech Bizendawieg. Thank you all for tuning in and listening to this live Ojibwe Word of the Day. Again, this is something I look forward to doing on Thursday nights. And if you take a few moments out of your day to talk about, to listen to discuss Ojibwe, Anishinaabe, Chippewa language, culture, history, spirituality, ethics, philosophy, linguistics, I'm incredibly grateful for that. So, Pajigo Miigwech Bizendawieg. And tonight's word of the day is one that it's actually been a lifetime ambition for me to travel around the world speaking about the 7 generations and the 7 grandfather teachings. And I find myself in the year 2020 looking to these 7 grandfather teachings, this Gichitabakunagewanan, this great law or the sacred law, the Gagigeanakunagewanan, the eternal law, for guidance on how I should act in times like these. And I was thinking about what to discuss tonight, and this one, it's just very resounding for me. And there's a different approach to it, and I think if we look at this sacred law for Manaaji'idiwin respect, one of our 7 grandfather teachings, one of our sacred laws, I think it can give us real insight in how to act and how to treat one another in this day and age. Although it dates back to antiquity, this is a sacred law that has been here for millennia upon millennia, thousands and thousands of years. But its use is just as important and profound in today's modern age and society. So to begin with, let's look at that word. We use the term respect when we're using this English translation. But the word itself, manaaji, it really means to go easy on, to spare, to honor, or to respect. It can mean all of these things. And that manaaji, that's a transitive animate verb. When we use manaaji'idiwin, that's a reciprocal. They do that to each other. They respect one another. They go easy on one another. They honor each other. For me, I like to think of it as acknowledging the sanctity of each other. So often when I'm discussing this in a 7 generations and 7 grandfathers teaching, talk or traditional teachings, the prime example I'll use is with Mashkade Bijiki, is with the plains buffalo, plains bison. Our old word for wood buffalo, wood bison, would be bijiki. Nowadays we use that term for cow, but that one was an awasi, a being who is now extinct. That one is no longer here with us, and that name got moved to cow. But bijiki they're talking about the buffalo. And when I spoke about respect, our ancestors, and in particular, my people from Mikanak-Wajawing, Turtle Mountain, these were buffalo people. The buffalo fed us, they clothed us, and they gave us a lodge to live in. They gave us life. And we absolutely needed them in order to survive. And they took care of us. And so the moment that you realize that someone out of unconditional love, out of pity, and in blessing us, Ojibwe Word, the buffalo pitied us, blessed us, and showed us unconditional love. When we realize that, and after you've harvested buffalo, after you've gone buffalo hunting, you used every part of the animal. And in doing that, you were showing respect to this being who is taking such good care of you. And you also used this one sparingly. You didn't, it would be catastrophically stupid to go out and hunt and kill all of the buffalo. You would be in turn killing yourself. In this case, you would take only what you need. And many of you, if you're not familiar with Manaaji'idiwin with Ojibwe culture, maybe you've heard this about other indigenous peoples. Take only what you need. You killed, you harvested only what you needed, and you left the rest. That's why when the people who will become Euro-Americans, Euro-Canadians arrive here, they find millions upon millions upon millions of buffalo, and there are buffalo everywhere. They're in the mountains, they're in the swamps, they're in the woods, and of course they're on the Great Plains. So, and in this case too, because this is a reciprocal one from the Anishinaabe point of view, buffalo was going easy on us, was honoring us. And they said, if we do not take care of our younger siblings, the Anishinaabe, those pitiful ones, then they will starve, they will freeze to death, and they'll be homeless. So we will take care of them. And that is reciprocal. That's that reciprocal part. They are going easy on each other. They are giving each other life. They are acknowledging the sanctity in each other's existence, in each other's lives. They're saying your life is sacred. And so often, and it's not just with the Oasiag, Manaaji'idiwin can be shown to the Giguyag, to the fish. It can be shown to the Mushkikiwan, Mittagug, to the medicines, the plants growing in the ground, to the trees. It's shown to all of the Beneshiag, to the birds. We can acknowledge the sanctity in all of that, in all of our relatives. And that's how we're supposed to act. And in turn, in you showing them respect, that will come back to you. And that's not just the law of karma, that's the law of physics. Every action is going to have an equal reaction. This will come back to you. So even if you may not feel respected, you're still expected to show respect to all of your relatives, to go easy on them, to not stress them, to not burden them, to take only what you need, and to look after them, to acknowledge the sanctity of their lives as well. And so today, as we think about it, in the midst of the pandemic, which in the United States at least is surging again, for me to talk about respect, really what I really wanted to get across today is that there will be people who are in need. There will be people who will need the sanctity of their lives acknowledged. And already we find ourselves at a point where maybe the elderly, the Gitchi Ayag, the great beings, the Gete Ayag, the old-time people, the elders, the Mindmoyag, the old ladies and the old men, maybe they were not looked after as well as they should have been. We can change that. And as we're looking at how to act and treat one another during this pandemic, I think it's really important to acknowledge the sanctity of someone else's life. And so I think that means taking all precautions and showing humility. That's another of our sacred laws, that you're not necessarily more important than any of your relatives, that you're not exalting yourself above them. In fact, you're saying, I think lowly of myself. I am not more important than you. And when you have that kind of humility, and you have that zakituin, that love for one another of our sacred laws, that unconditional, compassionate love, then it makes it very easy to respect someone, to honor their sanctity. Of course, with this, we'll have to seek out lives with kwakwatizwin, with righteousness, with virtue, with honor and truth. And as well as Zungade'ewin, we'll definitely need strength of heart, our courage, as well as Nabuakawan and intelligence to do this. But as we're moving forward, to think that, how shall I treat my relatives? How can I acknowledge their sanctity? How can I respect them? Not yelling at someone, respect your fellow relatives, but if you can find that feeling that I'm going to go easy on you, and if your burden is too heavy, I will assume some of it. I acknowledge the sanctity of your life. And if that means wearing a mask, if that means staying at home. If that means not doing any sort of behavior that could possibly get someone ill, then we definitely need to do that. And that will work. It has always worked. It's worked for thousands and thousands of years, and it will work now in the year 2020. So mi ie wa kirayan nongum. That's all I'm going to say this evening. Apajigomi gwech bizendalieg. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to this live Ojibwe Word of the Day. And again, if you know someone who is interested in our language, our culture, our history, our spirituality, our ethics, our philosophy, please feel free to like and share this video. Aho, apajigomi gwech bizendalieg. Dagasana and Guamasik, please, all of you, do take care. And the spirits will decide when we see each other again.